And here we are again. It's getting to be pretty hot outside. Good day to come inside and start working on another project. So I start with this project. It's going to be a bridge, and I cut out 2 rails. This is the underside of the bridge, and I'm going to use it to place some planks. And I'm going to make the planks out of this out of popsicle sticks. I'm just going to cut them to a length that will span a little bit beyond either side of the bridge rails. It's going to be slightly larger in the distance of, one of these squares on this pad here. And then I just go through and I'm going to use my scissors to cut these out because it's just quicker. And when I say my scissors, I mean, my wife's scissors. So I go ahead and place them on here so I get an idea about how many I need. And I just fit them on there and I'm like, yeah, that looks pretty good. So after I get them cut, I'm ready to start painting. I started with this golden brown, didn't like it, so switched over to some burnt umber. And then I'll dry brush it with the lighter brown to give it a weathered look. Go ahead and paint the rails too. Might as well make the underside look as good as the top side. Go back and finish these out where they've dried on one end and paint the other side. Then I thought about it and I thought maybe I'd want a bridge that had a little bit more wear and tear to it. So I went ahead and cut out some jagged edges on the edges there of the planks. Just cutting out little chunks using an X-Acto knife. And then after I cut those chunks out, I needed to go back over and paint, the parts I'd cut out. And I just finished this up here before moving on to the next step, which is going to be putting the planks onto the rails. Now, this idea for a modular bridge was just an idea I've had recently watching other channels that use magnets in some pretty interesting ways. So I wanted to try this out and let you guys see what I came up with, and maybe to get the creative juices flowing on your end, and you'll come up with some pretty cool ideas for your builds. And if you do, I'd really like to hear about them, and if you could share them in the comments down below, I'd love to see them. So once I got these glued on with some tacky glue, I just go back over and clean it up. Now that I got the bridge done, I'm going to work on some of the posts for the bridge. Now my thought process here was that I'd go ahead and put magnets on so that you could put posts on either side of the bridge and you can have them facing up or facing down. And I guess you could also create some connectors so that you could create another section of bridge and make a longer bridge. But for this particular build, I'm just putting the magnets on the side and then on the post. And that way I could turn it into a dock, or I could turn it into a bridge with some posts going in the ground, going across a chasm. Here it is in its first configuration, more as like a dock or a raised walkway. And it's more than sturdy enough to hold the miniatures. The magnets hold really well. My messy countertop there. So with that piece done, I go back and do some dry brushing just to give it a more weathered and used look. And here I think I'm using the golden brown, just really lightly brushing over. I may have even dabbled in a little bit of gray. And then I go over the post too. There we go, I get the post on both sides. Now at this point I was wanting to spice it up a little bit more, so I thought maybe I'll paint some of these citadel skulls and post them on top, put them on top of the post, that goes across the bridge. And a little bit of super glue on top there, holds it in place. And just make sure you get the magnet facing to the right or left of the skull. And you want to do 2 of them, one where the skull faces forward with the magnet on the right, and one where it's on the left, so you cover both sides of your bridge. I did another one where I decided to see if I could just make the skull itself magnetic, and that worked out pretty well. I put a little magnet on top of the post, like here, and then another magnet on the bottom of the skull, and now I can swap out skulls or maybe put a chain link across 2 posts. That would be a pretty neat use of it. And this is pretty much what I had at the end of the day. Little bridge going across there to an ogre. And another configuration here with a goblin, more like a dock maybe. A forward-facing view of the ogre. And that's pretty much it. I'd love to see what you guys come up with in different configurations. And until next week, have fun, keep crafting. Thanks for sticking around till the end. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. Let me know why in the comments down below. And until next week, keep crafting and have fun.